when the war started, it was a case of trying to evacuate all the children from London to safety out in the country, and the children would be sent to various families, and that would take care of the children, but not exactly, because apparently they wondered what they were going to do about the physically handicapped children. They couldn't allow them to be, sent to ordinary families. So what they did was to gather up as many as they could in various areas. And in our case, we were sent to a castle in Cheshire. There was 250 of us, plus 100 staff. And this castle was enormous. But the one problem that was giving the headmistress problems was what to do about the holidays, because we all know school holidays are about 6 weeks, and in the enclosed community that we were living in, you just couldn't cope with 6 whole weeks with children sort of loose, as it were, within the confines of the castle. So she very cleverly thought, I know, we'll have 1 week per month, and in that week the children will be given something specific to do.
And that was spread through the year?
And that was spread through the year from April to September. So let's say, for instance, in April we used to go out for walks and look for spring flowers and nesting and that sort of thing. In all of this time, I think in about 1940, I think it was, or maybe a little bit later, I can't remember now. No, it was 43. I can't remember. Anyway, when the Americans came over, of course they were called the GIs, and they would come via Liverpool, and they would camp within a 30-mile radius. And in the fullness of time, as it were, they would hear about this castle. Please, sir, can we go and visit this castle? And to cut a long story short, for a solid year or more, we had GIs, 200 at a time, every Sunday. And we would be allotted a GI, more or less, each. And we would call them Uncle, and they, of course, had their glorious names of Uncle Spirus and Agni, all those sort of funny names that Americans have, which we'd never heard of. And then they would entertain us at Christmas. They had one time they had quite a lot of the Philharmonic Orchestra, and they came along and gave us a concert, which was absolutely fabulous. Because in this huge hall they had 2 grand pianos on a dais, so of course we had all that. And they entertained us at Christmas, and when they came over, the boxes that they used to bring their weapons in, they'd made toys out of those and brought them to us. It was amazing, it really was. When the GIs came, they used to come in their jeeps, and of course they'd give us rides around the circular lawn that was there. That was great fun. Yeah, that was great fun, yes. Oh yes, we all had our friends. I mean, obviously they were in, because the age range was 5 to 16. So obviously you had your friends within that age range. Yes, in fact, about 50 years later on, to celebrate the 50 years, we had a reunion at the castle, and there was an old friend of mine who looked after me, actually, Louise Axford, and 1 or 2 other girls I remember, and oh yes, I can remember that very well.
Did you say you had close friendships?
No, I don't suppose they would be close. That came later, after the war, as you got older. because there's a difference between kids playing together, as we were then, because I was just coming up to 7 when I went there.
Yes.
Yes, it would be, yes. And you would all get on together. I don't remember anything untoward, you know. There was no bickering. We all got on. In the school, you weren't aware of your disabilities, and you were never mollycoddled. You got on with things. If you fell over, you fell over. If you could get up, you got up. They didn't come rushing over or anything like that. You got on with it as best as you could. Obviously, there would be a line drawn. They would be tuned to notice whether you're really in difficulties. It's like being here. Now, I expect when we had our reunion, we would talk, you know, having a bit of a chat about old times. And there were 1 or 2 there who said they hated it there, didn't like it at all. I think the reason for that was the 2 in question were real East Enders, and they'd had their freedom. I think they were probably little tearaways, if the truth be known. And that, I suppose, to them was almost like an incarceration, and they hated it. Now, to me, that was security, because I think up until then I was probably in the wilderness, because I was born very prematurely, apparently, not fully developed. Mother abandoned me at the hospital, and I immediately came into the care of the LCC, which was called the London County Council. And there I stayed in the hospital until I was nearly 5, so I understand. And then I was transferred to the, I think it was an orphanage in Sidcup, temporarily, waiting to go up to the castle. And I suppose I had a feeling of, even at that age, not belonging. So when I got up there, I belonged. I felt secure. So it was a very sheltered life. Well, it was the only family I knew.
Exactly.
Like an extended family, I suppose. Yes, I was happy there. I just sensed I was being cared for.
Yes.
So obviously up till the age of, nearly 6, I must have been sort of, what's the expression? Not in this world, sort of, I can't think of the word now, it's gone. But not belonging to anybody,
Yes.
not belonging. Wherever we went as a sort of little community, as it were. The community, the size of the community, obviously after the war, sort of got slightly diminished from about 250 to about 45 to 50. But by that time, I suppose you could almost call it almost a little family. Not a tight community, but it was a little village within the castle, as it were. I've always got on with people. I've never made enemies of anybody. What's the point? I want to get on in life, so it behoves one to get on with people, whether you like them or not. Never be uncivil.